Hi, my name is Katrina Daniels, and I'm with Lansing Art Gallery and Education Center. And I'm standing here on one of my favorite places in Lansing, which is the Lansing River Trail. We are actually in Old Town, and why we brought you here today is to talk about Artpath, public art on the Lansing River Trail, which is the third year that we've produced a series of murals and sculptures and installations along the river trail. What you see behind me is a sign that shows a map, and it shows 19 different art installations by 19 different Michigan artists. And this is so fun because it's walkable, it's bikeable, it's a great opportunity to come out by yourself or come out with your family and friends to take in part of the trail or to take in the whole 3.5 miles. And we're gonna head over to site number 1, which is at the Turner Dodge House, just beautiful historic mansion in the heart of Old Town. Here we are at site number 1, which is, for the last 3 years, this has always been site number 1. So the Turner Dodge House is sort of our anchor point, the northernmost point here at Artpath. And we have a sculpture by artist Doug DeLinde. Doug lives and works in Mason, Michigan. He taught for many, many years at Michigan State University in their Fine Arts Department. And he has a background in both sculpture and ceramics. So what you're seeing here is actually a piece that's cast out of bronze, but was initially created out of ceramics. These kind of elongated forms, working with this sort of human figure, and these patterns is very indicative of Doug's work. So you'll see this type of mark making in a lot of his work. Doug also has public sculptures all around in the community. He has a beautiful piece at the main CATA bus station in downtown Lansing, if you ever find yourself there. This piece is called Contemplating, and it's just this really beautiful, thoughtful sculpture. And one reason why I wanted to have it here at this location is because it's a little bit smaller. I wanted it to be sort of tucked into a garden. It's near a bench, it's under this beautiful tree, where it was something that you could sit, kind of take a moment and enjoy it in a way that is a little bit quieter. Where some of the other installations you'll see on the trail are bigger, and so it makes more sense for them to be in a larger open space. But Contemplating by Doug DeLinde is just a beautiful piece. Great way for you to start your Artpath journey here and then take in the gardens around Turner Dodge. So one thing that you're going to notice at each of our sites is a sign that has information about the site. We'll have the title of the work, the artist's name, where they're from, information about their artist statement, and then a little map that kind of shows where you are in context with the Artpath. So we're here at site number 2. One thing we added this year that's really fun is how many feet it is to the next site. So that gives you an idea if you want to walk to the next site or bike it, or if you feel like maybe that distance is a little bit too far for you and you want to drive instead. But all of this information is on each of our sites to help you navigate your Artpath experience. We have headed just a little bit south on a short walk down the Lansing River Trail, and we are here at site number 2, which is Leaf Spiral by Craig Henshaw. Craig is an art maker, he's an artist educator out of Flint, Michigan. He went to Cranbrook, a prestigious art school in the Detroit area for his MFA, and then has spent years working with children and adults in the arts education background. He has a background in ceramics, which you might not initially think about when you see this installation, but he has used these leaves that are ceramics. He's also created this archway out of wood. But Craig is really interested in how individuals are interacting with his work. And so this piece is site-specific to this small hill, this mound. And when you come, what you'll notice is that there's actually a spiral of leaves painted on the ground. So when he sent his proposal, he really wanted this location because he was building his installation around the land itself. And that's something that's called site-specific. he mentions that he's inspired by Andy Goldsworthy, who is a British artist who uses nature in his work. So where some artists might be using canvases and paintbrushes, Andy is using the earth and found objects in nature, rock, things of that nature to make his work. So taking a note out of that, Craig really wanted to create something that was a bit performative, that actually asked you as a viewer to participate. So when you come, you'll actually notice this archway that you'll walk through, and next to it there's a box. And in the box there are instructions and there are little sticks. So I'm going to grab one. And what he's asking of us is to walk the leaf spiral. It's a bit meditative. Consider what acorns you plant during the pandemic. So he has a quote that says, "One generation plants acorns and the next enjoy the shade." And then he's asking us to make a statement. So this is another part of that participatory element of this. And he has a little example. So you can take leaves that are found from the tree, one of the sticks he's provided for us. This kind of looks like a flag, or maybe like a little sail, depending on what you think. And then he's asking us to actually participate by walking through the space. As you'll notice, there are leaves on the ground that spiral. And then we're actually planting this piece. So we're actually leaving a mark, and as viewers, we actually get to participate in the work. So you actually get to be part of the art. And I'm going to plant mine here. And then this is going to change throughout the time. So throughout the summer, sometimes the leaves wilt or they dry up, and then people bring in new ones. And so as time passes, you'll notice that this work changes. And so if you walk past it or bike past it, you'll watch how this changes throughout the summer, which was one of the artist's intent. So I hope that you come out, you take a moment, you walk the leaf spiral, and then you make your own work and you add it to this installation. So we are at site number 3, which is aptly titled Fish Ladder, and we're standing here at Grumpy Fish Ladder in Old Town. And what you see behind me is an installation by artist Jessica Wang, who created a series of fish sculptures that are interacting. You can touch them and move them, and they're made out of plastic bottles. Jessica is very concerned about the environment and the amount of plastic that ends up in our waterways. And she wanted to have a conversation about that and how detrimental that is to our sea life by actually keeping the plastic from going into the water and using it to create an art installation. So she's asking us to think about our own use of plastic materials and our own use of our own personal environmental practices and how it affects our waterways. I think here in Michigan, we're so blessed to be surrounded by water, the Great Lakes, and so many rivers. So this is something that's very, very apparent to us as citizens of this community. We often see people out here fishing, enjoying this beautiful site, so she wants us to remember that and be thoughtful about that. And this artist, when she submitted her proposal, she was reacting to this location. So sometimes artists for Artpath will submit a proposal and their work can go anywhere. But what we saw with Craig Hinshaw at site number 2 and here Jessica Wang at site number 3 is that they were both reacting to these parts of the trail and their work reflects that. But I hope that you enjoy and feel inspired by. If you do take photos, we would love to see them. Please tag us at Lansing Art Gallery and use the hashtag Lansing ARTPath. And we would love to see your Artpath journey.